Hi, my name is Angela Bunner, and this is a quick executive overview of Clarizen. So what you see here when you log into Clarizen is an example of a portal homepage. And the beauty of the portal homepage is it's totally tailorable and configured so that the role that you have in the organization is going to drive the access that you have and also your user experience to make it very simple and engaging for your users. As an executive, you see that we've simplified it just to have access to the key things that you might be accessing. But of course, you also have the navigator inside where you can access and search for other aspects of Clarizen. And all of these modules, of course, will be tailored based on the role that you have. So your team members may have a very small subset. Your project managers may just be managing projects and issues and risks, etc. As an executive, you're most likely going to be driving from your dashboard, because the dashboard provides you visibility across the organization, and information is going to be rolled up and aggregated the way that you want to analyze it. So you can slice and dice information as many different ways that you like, and it's surfacing information real time out of the system. In this case, you can see red, yellow, green status, financial performance, status by department, by region, as well as information about issues, new project requests, all in one place. And so what that provides you visibility is that you can now take action and drill in. So if I see that I have 7 projects that are off track, maybe I want to see which projects those are. As you can see, you can drill down and then pivot the data even more. Not only do you want to see by PM, again, you could see it by region, by group, maybe I want to look at dollars by how they're completing over time. Or I want to look at information of by phase, which projects are in which phase and how much are we spending. With Clarizen, we have full financial planning capability, so you can manage all the finances of your project, whether it's labor or non-labor costs. But let's take an example. As an executive, you see that you've got 6 projects off track, and I want to drill in to find those out. So maybe why not say, you know what, I only care about those that are off track. You see that Paul is the one that's got the most. And you notice below, the table is being updated to reflect and help you zoom in on those projects that are off track for Paul. You also notice on the bottom here the ability to collaborate and have a discussion in the context of this report. This concept is throughout Clarizen, and it provides you visibility and the ability to collaborate and bring people into a conversation. So if I see that this project is off track, I can say, hey, Paul, ping Paul by @signing him. Let's talk about your application update project. Why are we still off track? And by pinging Paul, he's going to get an email with the link to this report, and this application update project is also going to get a post because we've called it into this conversation. So all of the followers or reviewers are going to see that Angela is now monitoring or asking some questions about this project, right? Again, you can also, from this report, drill into that report, into that specific project, where you will see the world of this project, all the team members, all the files that we've created and are collaborating on, the top-level roadmap of what phase we're in, as well as the schedule of that project, risks, change request, issues, and here's that collaboration or discussion thread where you see that Angela is looking into this. So all the followers or reviewers on this project, the project team will get notified that there's something off track. So that was a quick example of, from a dashboard, drilling down into a KPI or a report and into the actual project that's causing the problems. But that's just one flow. And as you can see, you can have a multitude of different dashboards, and that allows you to have standard reports or dashboards that you can provide different users and roles in your organization so that they can analyze the data using common reports, but also they can tailor it if you give them access to. And different roles will have different dashboards. For example, you could have a portfolio dashboard, a PMO dashboard, resource manager, down to the individual team member themselves, because the data will change depending on the type of user they are, as well as the type of information or access they should have, because they're all dynamic. In this case, as a product manager or executive, you can see that I'm looking at financials by product, by release information, industry information, etc. Because like I said, as many different dimensions of data you want to capture, you'll be able to analyze. And that data can come from Clarizen or from other systems. In this case, this release chart is showing you dates of information based on information that's directly coming from Jira, as we have native integration with Jira. So if we go back to that project, and you notice that this project rolls into a specific portfolio. So as a portfolio manager, we have full portfolio management capabilities where you'll be able to manage the portfolio of projects and how they're performing against each other. So you might want to see, what is the 15-foot view of those projects? You know, what are the dependencies between projects? What are risks or requests or issues that have bubbled up from the projects within my portfolio? And as a portfolio manager, you might even want to optimize that portfolio. So if I'm looking at this portfolio and I can see all the projects in it and I see I have 2 new projects that have been requested, maybe you want to optimize it. If we scroll up to the optimization panel, this is a tool that allows you to rank projects against business objectives that you've specified and KPIs that are important to your business. So in this case, it might say risks are more important to my business. I want a lower risk projects, and you notice that these 2 new projects that have come in and the water line here, but maybe you want to force rank this application project as most important, and maybe we'll kill the AI project. You know, what does that do to my overall budget allocation? Do I have enough money to do this portfolio? And maybe I want to save this as a scenario where we, V3 scenario, kill the AI project. Let's discuss. And by posting that scenario, I can now collaborate with other business leaders or portfolio managers and in Clarizen, and you'll have an audit trail of those collaborations as well. So another example of automation in the tool. Now you notice that in that portfolio, sorry if I come back here in the portfolio, that there was dependencies between projects. The application update project is dependent on the Hadoop cluster project. By defining project dependencies, what you can also do with Clarizen is provide automation based on those dependencies. So if I go to the application update project and you look at the history, you'll see that we've automatically notified the project manager when the Hadoop cluster project was delayed. The system has also automatically created a risk for that project manager. That's an example of automation and efficiencies that we're going to provide your users so they don't have to find the problems. They can be notified of them automatically. The system can automatically create work or objects such as risks in this example. And those workflows are things that your business and your organization can define. The other key aspect of or example of automation is our slide publisher. Well, you'll be able to automatically create status report using templates that you define. So if I come in and generate this status report, send it out to my project team, they will get an email with that status report, which was generated automatically out of the system using your template. So here's an example where you see that it's generated a status report in PowerPoint, and this could be your template with your logo and formatting. And you'll see that it's created this nice status report in PowerPoint with the new schedule delay risk that was just created, as well as the status of key milestones. But basically, any information about your project can be included in that status report, including charts, if you so like. In the back here, you notice I also generated one for the portfolio. So your portfolio manager, by the click of a button, can also generate a status report for all of the projects in the portfolio. So here you see a summary list of all those projects and the status. And then the system creates a single slide snapshot of each of the projects in that portfolio. Again, automatically. So it's basically pulling information from each of the projects, putting it into a status report. And obviously, again, these are all fully configurable. So if you wanted to change the information that's shown, it's a matter of, drag and drop and clicking and entering into the template. And this tool saves your users, countless hours that they typically have to manually do to create status reports on projects, programs, and portfolios in other systems or typically in spreadsheets. So that's a quick example of the portfolio management process and capabilities in Clarizen, and how you can rank projects in a portfolio and look at them across the portfolio in a roadmap. Now, if we go back to the home page, if I scroll back up, how do these projects come in and to Clarizen? And so the intake process is another key example of where we can automate and provide efficiencies to your business. And you see here an example of different types of requests that your users may enter. And this might be something that the business user enters, where they say, you want a new product XYZ. They have a new idea. Maybe I'm somebody in the project management team. Let's build a new product. And you can standardize the mandatory fields that are, you want them to enter. And the fields of data and the type of request can drive the life cycle. So that life cycle can be predetermined. The workflow and automation will then also be predetermined based on conditions that you specify. For example, depending on the size of this idea, who requested it, the approvers can change. The number of approvers, the types of approvers, all of that can be dynamically driven based on the attributes of that new idea. In this case, I've just manually forced that forward. But what you also notice is down below, you've got that collaboration in the context of this request, so that your business submitter of that request will see the history of it. And when we convert this new request to a project, the project team will also have visibility into who approved that request in the life cycle of it. And of course, all of these approval processes are also email enabled. So your approvers can from email automatically approve, reject a request, or link into it. And this email integration is key because it engages your users to know they need to do something rather than having to log into the system. And it allows them to take action from email itself. So if I go back to the request, you'll see, the latest status of that in the pop-up examples. Okay. And finally, let's take a quick look at capacity planning. So a key aspect of Clarizen is also managing the resources and the overall demand and capacity of your teams. As an executive or a portfolio manager, you might be responsible for 2 different teams. And you can see at the top level here where the bottlenecks are. In this case, my data science team has more issues. And so you can drill down to see the specific people in that team and where those bottlenecks are. So as a resource manager, you want to manage to make sure that you have fewer bottlenecks. And you can see the demand against projects. Each project here has demand against them. You notice that the machine learning project here has a lot of hours requested against it, which is driving that chart above, where you can see the line showing the capacity, and then the bars showing what's been assigned and approved versus what's still outstanding. So as a resource manager, this is a real-time dashboard. You can make updates to it and see the impact above, right? You'll be able to approve requests, reject them, or even assign specific people. You can search across your team to see what other people might be able to do the work. You can assign and or split work between people. And this is all in a mode where I've not even committed the changes. I'm just simulating it to see the impact to my resources. If I did assign those people, what would that do to their overall load? So that's a quick example of how you can manage the resources and the capacity of them, assigning them to projects. And then, of course, all of these resources have cost rates associated to them and financials, which is what rolled up into those dashboards that we showed at the top level of the demo. So that's a quick demo of Clarizen. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact us. Thank you.